I am pounding my new gavel. The meeting is now coming to order. Although this is not a Toastmaster meeting, this is OMG Networking Table Topics. Welcome for those people that are on the podcast and those that are in the audience and those that see this later on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and wherever else this podcast goes. Just ask Mary Stanley, who helps host our podcast on 10 different platforms. We do have some items that we'll be talking about today, as well as some self introductions. Why do I have my notes taped way to the ceiling? I have no idea, right? They should be down here so I can check them out. So the call to order, we start off with an inspiration, and this is your inspiration for today. The Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary. But the late Jimmy Valvano said this: every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Thank you, Jimmy Valvano, the late Jimmy Valvano. He also said, you plus motivation equals success. Thank you so much, Jimmy. That's our inspiration for today. In honor of Ralph Smedley. You know who he is. Oh, we have a guest here today. I have to let my in room.
Paul.
We have just begun. You just missed it, Gabrie'le, that I already put the gavel on to officially start our meeting. You missed our inspiration, but you're going to have to go back and listen to the podcast to hear it, because this whole time you're with me today is a podcast. I love your hairstyle, by the way. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was just going to go to the next item I have on my agenda. I actually do have an agenda. I use I use the exact same agenda what you see at a Toastmasters meeting in 145 countries around the world, but it's just us here today. So we'll have some fun with it. In honor of Ralph Smedley, who was the founder of Toastmasters, and Dale Carnegie. He's been around over 100 years as well. I think long since deceased. But if you ever heard of him, you Google him. He's a great business person, public speaker, and communicator. That's Dale Carnegie, then Ralph Smedley, and then Napoleon Hill. I don't have any of his books on my desk, but all three speakers, and being that I'm in the United States, I think you're in the United States as well. Similar to them, I'm going to start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Sporting events might do it, maybe some schools. So today, I'm just going to stand up. You can join me if you like to, and I'll just do the Pledge of Allegiance, which is I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And those soldiers that are in the military, hats off to you as well. The next item of the day, if you hadn't figured it out already, if you heard my inspiration, which you didn't, but I told you to hear it. So now I'll have to tell you a snippet of it, because I'm about to disclose the word of the day and then the rest of the agenda. So the word of the day is ordinary. Ordinary means plain, blah, humble. Perhaps one of those words you could fit into, or I could fit into, or anybody listening might feel that they're ordinary, or maybe they're extraordinary. One of those two things. But the Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us. That's a quote by the late Jimmy Valvano. You could Google also, for those listening, not just you, Gabrie'le or Gabby, or what should I call you?
Whatever you want to call me. I'm used to being everything now.
Okay. Just not late for dinner, right?
Huh?
Not late for dinner.
Yeah.
And here's Jimmy Valvano's quote using the word of the day, which is every single day, every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Thank you, Jimmy Valvano, for giving us that inspiration for today. And then this part of the agenda is self-introductions. So if you were in the studio, which you have time, but I'm not fortunately, unfortunately, live broadcasting so that if somebody heard this, they could actually pop into our meeting and I'll let them in the waiting room. But since I uploaded after the fact, whoever is here today gets to take part, and possibly you'll hear a 6-minute business spotlight and or some networking table topics. Toastmasters has table topics, but we have networking table topics because in networking table topics, I actually have a box here and I can't see the topic when I look at it this way. If I look at it this way, then you can see the topic. So I'll make sure I don't show Gabby the topics by mistake because we want it to be impromptu because then it forces you like a Toastmasters meeting to get practice doing impromptu speeches, which will be timed as well. And oh, here, I thought I didn't have my timer with me, but I got my trusty phone with me as well. So I better put that on if I can put the right password in if it lets me into it. Okay, here it is. Anybody have that problem when you type in your password and you can't get into your own phone? All right, I got it.
Moment it locks you out, right?
I think I have 10 tries and it erases my entire phone. So I try not to get past 2 times mistakes. So the self-introductions, I'll go with our in-studio guest here today. And it says on the screen, Gabrie'le, you could tell us how you say your name, where you're from, and that's it for now for self-introductions.
Okay. Well, you can call me Gabrie'le. Okay, so the actual pronunciation is with an apostrophe. It's French. It's Gabrie'le instead of L. It's so technical. But I go by Gab, and I'm from Ohio. Oui, yeah. I do not. That's my mom's doing. I came into this world with that apostrophe.
No francais speako?
No.
Okay.
No.
Parlez-vous français? I think is the correct way to say it. But I kind of like my way better. No francais speako. All right. So let's see. Where did you say you're from again?
Ohio.
Ohio. Okay. I had a old uncle that was from there. He would have been over 100 if he were alive today, and he was in the TV business out of Columbus, Ohio. Did you say what city? Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, but what business did you say?
A TV. He was in a TV station, a local TV station. So he was the cameraman.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting thing because he would have been over 100 today. He actually went to Randall's Island where they had the Olympic trials back in his day, and he competed in the running event with Jesse Owens.
That's you probably
heard of Jesse Owens, maybe, perhaps, history books. So he competed with him, but he ended up working at a TV station, the cameraman, and of course, Jesse ended up being world famous. All right, so self-introductions. Oh, I guess it's just me in the studio audience and the next person to go. So I'm Paul. I am your host today and master of ceremonies, and I am in Delray Beach, Florida, Southeast Florida, about 50 miles north of Miami Beach and about a half an hour south of West Palm Beach. Probably about 3 hours south of Orlando to give people a broader picture on the east coast of Florida. We don't have anybody from the west coast of Florida, but maybe next time. All right, that's our self-introductions. And then similar to a Toastmaster meeting, they have these things called timer, counter, grammarian. I'm going to do all those things also because Gabrie'le didn't, she had no idea what she's getting herself into on a podcast that actually keeps track of how many times you say, like, so double clutches, double starts. Those are things if you didn't know, or the people that ever heard of a double clutch or double start where you say the same word twice. Like like you're double at the beginning of your speech or impromptu talk, or if you say it in the middle of your talk and you say the word and twice in a row, perhaps as an example of a double start or double clutch. All right, but those things are meant to remind you not to waste valuable speech time on words that have no meaning whatsoever other than that you're wondering what you're going to think. So you're pretty much telling us how you're going to think out loud. And we want to teach everybody and our viewers how to think to yourself in the middle of a speech publicly, which could be challenging for many, but there's no wrong answers. All right. And then there is a timer, which is, I'll let you know the timing parameters for everything. And then the grammarian Toastmasters has it. We'll call it the word of the day. I introduced you the word of the day. Do you remember the word of the day?
No.
It was ordinary.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Ordinary.
yeah. I remember the word. Yes, I did.
That was your first quiz to see if you remember the word of the day.
I failed already.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
great.
so say with me at the same time. Ordinary.
Ordinary.
There you go. Now you already said it. So now you don't have to worry about saying it anymore.
Okay.
All
I
right.
have
So
it.
on that note, we're going to jump right away into networking table topics. We'll do a bunch of them, and you're going to get a crash course in what they do in Toastmasters in 145 countries. But what you're going to, I don't have any pieces of paper to hold up a green card at 1 minute, which is the minimum time to speak. So if I give you a topic, you have to make it to a minute. Can you do it?
Okay. With no
Can can you get? Yeah. Well, you don't have you let it all flow.
With no
If you say it, we won't penalize you. It's just to make you aware of it. So 1 minute is the minimum time to reach, but you have a minute and a half where I will wave my magic gavel at a minute and a half, but I will also wave it at a minute, and then at 2 minutes I'll wave it again. So you'll see this 3 times, and then you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up, which I will be waving it like crazy. Stop. Okay, so that is 1.5, and 2. Then I'll tell you different parameters for the 6-minute business spotlight, for if you choose to talk about why and how you started your passion, your business, or if you have some other passion. Hopefully, it's legal, ethical, and moral, because I have to get permission to do this podcast. And I don't. And my compliance department doesn't want me to have any competition. I don't blame them. So if they were a financial person and they were my technically competition, and they came here and they're a person, I would love if they talked about a nonprofit that they love, or some passion, or they love the beach and tell us why, or something, so that we can get to know them as a business community person. So keep in mind for that for any Monday at 5:30. All right, so we're up to our first topic. I'll set the timer, and I don't know if I hold it in front of myself, yeah, you can see it. If I put it over here, it might fade away. Oh, I think it kind of works.
And then also in the corner, there's session time too, so I can see the time.
Oh, right, correct. And I'm right, got it.
I thought that well, because it's easy to like forget it because it kind of blends in like a chameleon into the screen.
Here's the first question. Can you see it? Nope.
No.
Can't see it. All right. It's really this. You're like nervous. Like, what is it? I'll tell you. It's pretty easy. You've probably encountered this before several times. Here it is. And as soon as you utter your first word, I'll start the timer. What's your favorite comfort food? What's your favorite comfort food, Gabrie'le?
Mac and cheese. It's always been. That was like the only thing I would eat when I was a kid. Because, like, I had, and it's funny because a lot of kids who are autistic, that seems to be a very common comfort food for them. And I think it's because of the shape of like the noodle. Like, there's like always a specific one that like works for you. So for me, ever since I've been a kid, the texture and everything has always been like perfect to me. Um, so do I have to make this answer a minute long?
No, you don't, but the laughter does count as speech.
Oh, okay.
Pausing counts as speech, and me
That's
answering it
why
counts as
laughter.
speech. And now you're at 42 seconds. So you have 10 seconds to say your last thought, and you did it.
Well, mac and cheese is the best. I try to like eat healthy though because it's not really good for your digestive system, your body in general, but I try. I like Annie's. Annie's vegan mac is good, but yeah.
I got good news. You went over a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that's your warm up. I'm resetting the clock. And
Okay.
then I'll go next, and then we'll go back to you.
Okay.
So this will be my question. I have never seen these cards before. I mean, I haven't gone through the whole deck yet. Maybe I've seen it. All right. What is your favorite beach in the whole world. What's my favorite beach in the whole world? I should say the beach that has real sand in it where you could take off your shoes and you can go for barefoot and go for a nice run, like 2.5 miles one way and 2.5 miles back. And the water looks like this behind me where it's not too wavy. That would be, and the sand doesn't have too much seaweed in it. So you could literally, and the sand is powder. So it feels like baby powder. It's so soft and angel like when you're walking it, and you're the first footprints on that beach is the best beach in the world where you get there at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Who would do that craziness? But there's nobody there. It's completely silent. But this beach over here that you see in the background, this would be a second. Uh, and just for the viewers, I have to just click on minimize. I'm going to minimize the tool so that they can see the recording later. We're actually pictured. I made my background at omgtalk.com in this Skylarverse, a beach theater where Gabrie'le is sitting in the back row and I'm all the way in the front. She could actually move herself up and click on a bubble if she wants to, a different chair.
Oh.
But in the meantime, this beach here is at omgtalk.com where we have all kinds of business leaders do networking topics, what we're doing here today. And I just lost one of our guests, but maybe she might come back. I have to let her in the waiting room. There she is. She's coming back
So
into the,
sorry.
she figured out that when you click on a bubble that's not in the theater, she probably went into a room all by herself
Yeah.
because there's 11 different rooms here. And the F is another room. The K is out in the ocean. I call it ocean recharge. So if you need an ocean recharge and you're in my meeting, and you click on the K bubbles, you'll leave this meeting and you'll end up in a meeting all by yourself in the middle of the ocean. Don't do it. Okay.
The F seemed intriguing.
If we
So
had like 100 people, I wouldn't be upset if you went into there. But although I don't mind talking to myself temporarily until I upload it to the cloud. So I guess that was the end of my table topic because I spoke for about a minute and 40 seconds. So our next up is this one. Now, I'm going to teach you 2 words because if you get a topic that you don't want to talk about or can't think of what to talk about or would rather talk about something else, there are 2 fancy words in the English language called pivot and segue. And if you learn those 2 words, you literally can smoothly and in a nice transition pivot to a completely different topic that you would love to talk about. Like the previous topic is another idea. You could pivot and segue to the previous topic, which is the beach or comfort food, and talk about some aspect again that you didn't think of before. Or you could pivot or segue to a recipe that you love to make, like how to make spaghetti, and tell us about how you make spaghetti sauce. More comfort food, probably. So here's the topic, and you have 1 minute, and then I will go like I'll wave the magic gavel, and then at 1.5 minutes I'll wave it again, and at 2 minutes I'll wave it again, and then you'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Let's see, you can make it to 1 minute now by either pivot segueing or taking a stab at it.
Okay.
What global problem concerns you the most? What global problem concerns you the most?
So that question could be very specific to me. Or do you mean concerns me or just generally speaking? Because like if you mean concerning me, I mean the misunderstanding of autism globally, that's a big issue to me. And that's why I speak so much about it. That's why I have Elible. That's why I have my nonprofit Endyverse. That's why I do testing for autism and ADHD because there's a lot of misunderstanding. People don't understand how autism can present. They don't understand what it means, and they're very they seclude a lot of people who are like autistic and make them feel alone and sad and depressed and stuff. So that's a big problem to me. that I'm trying to fix, because I think that when you have problems, you should always like try to fix them if you can. So like I'm really hands in activism for neurodiversity, which I'm sure you know. A lot of people know at this point because now if you Google my name, I literally come up, which is kind of crazy. But yes, there. Did I answer it right?
You made
So
it
that
to a minute, so now you can keep going to a minute and a half if you want to.
no, it's okay.
Okay. So that's a great second time practicing, doing what they do in Toastmasters clubs in 145 countries around the world. My
Mhm.
wife and I went to a Bucharest, Romania Toastmasters club that was in English. So
Okay.
luckily we could participate because I don't know Romanian and she knows some. Which if they
Mm,
speak fast, it would be like speaking too fast in Spanish or French, and we wouldn't understand it. And she
yeah.
won the table topics contest because they just had fun with it, and they asked about what it's like to be on a cruise, and Sarah went up there and she went in person to the microphone
Yeah.
behind a lectern, a podium. You know the difference, by the way, between a lectern and a podium? And if those people think there's no difference, oh, there is. The difference between a lectern and a podium: a
Mhm.
lectern you stand behind,
Mhm.
but a podium you stand on top of.
Mm.
So a podium is a stage, but the
Yeah.
lectern you stand behind and you put your notes on top of it. So that's the difference. Now, where was I going with that? I guess, is it my turn to go? Because you just went. Right. You told us
Yes.
about the global problem of autism.
Mhm.
Now,
Yes.
we learned
That's
about those two global problem concerns from, I guess, you and this other gal named Mary Stanley. You've heard of her.
oh, Mary. Yes, Mary.
She's the one that hosts our podcast. So when I put it up onto the
Mhm.
podcast, she helps us shoot it out to the world.
Mhm.
Here's the topic that I'm going to address today. What's your least favorite exercise? What is your least favorite exercise? I think all exercise is
Yeah.
probably mine and a lot of people's least favorite exercise. But when I
Mhm.
get on a groove and I make it a habit, more than they say 21 days to make something a habit where you don't have to remind yourself, you don't have to put it on a to-do list.
Yeah.
And I'm working back up to be able to get out to this where you see behind me, a
The
beach,
beach.
because I'm
Oh,
6 miles from this beach. Well, any
it's
beach
not.
looks the same. And I just have to get myself up 4 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because I want to be the first footprints. I want to go from one major road to the next major road, which is about 2.5 miles. So about a
Mhm.
5 mile run, I feel great. After you exercise, don't you tell yourself, why does this feel so great?
Yeah, it's the endorphins running through you.
And thank you for getting me over a minute. That last 2 seconds was Gabby. Thank you so much. All right.
You're welcome. The dopamine hit. Now you're a little bit more over a
So there's,
minute.
and the great thing about networking topics is that it automatically gives us amazing things to talk about, getting to know people when you're networking. Some groups
Mhm.
do this, some groups do icebreakers of all different kinds. Some groups just say, oh, sit at different tables at a restaurant, order some food. And if something comes up, it comes up. But I think if it's more directed, I think, and more facilitated, you can learn a lot in a short time period. So that's why I love networking table topics, getting the idea from, say, Toastmasters. Although this deck of cards says table topics on it, and it does not say anything to do with Toastmasters on it. But I bet there was probably a Toastmaster involved that came up with the idea for this little product that I got on Amazon, probably.
Mhm.
So, Gabby, you could either address this topic. I'm giving you like a heads up and warning and teaching tools for if you want to pivot or segue, choose a different topic, choose it, or expand your choice. Have you ever lied about your age? Have you ever lied about your age?
No. No. I feel no need to because I am younger, so I think it doesn't really affect me this way. I mean, I'll take that back. Sometimes people who are younger, they lie that they're older, but like I don't really see age like this. Like it doesn't bother me. It's so funny to me to think though, like when you're older, you lie that you're younger. When you're younger, you lie that you're older typically. It's like you should be content where you're at and happy with it. So for me, I'm always content in who I am, and I don't really have an issue with my age. I actually like to tell people my age because I've been able to do a lot of things at my age. So it's kind of cool to like tell people like, hey, like I accomplished these things and I'm only 26. So for me, it feels good to kind of like say that.
I
So,
thought you were going to tell the whole world that you're 12 and I was going to get in trouble.
oh, so sorry. Yeah, underage, under 13 or
You get in trouble though if I'm online and you're in a entirely different state, but you're in business, so I guess you had to have been at least 18 if you're in business. Probably
yeah,
can't sign your own
yeah.
bank account,
Hmm.
contracts. You probably have to make contracts and agreements with other customers. But you're at 1 minute and 18 seconds, by the way, including my gibberish in the middle of your speech.
Thank you for helping me
All right, so you're
make
getting lots of practice with impromptu. So have you ever had somebody challenge you to do impromptu speaking like this for 1 minute and a round robin of table topics or networking table topics? Makes it sound more fun and no pressure, I hope.
no.
So I'll have to go with this question for myself since it's my turn. I've never seen it before until now. I think I have. What
Hmm.
do you love about your hometown? What do I love about my hometown? I could address that as my hometown now, or I could address that as my hometown where I was raised and born, grew up in Rockland County, north of the George Washington Bridge. People think that that's Canada, but it's still New York, north of the George Washington Bridge, and north of it is not Canada. It's still New York and Rockland County, but not in New York City. Though I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and then within 9 months, my parents wanted to raise me north of the George Washington Bridge, somewhere between the George Washington Bridge and Canada, which is actually a good span of 7 or 8 hours, at least 7 or 8 hours going through Albany or Syracuse, um, Buffalo, and then Niagara Falls, and then you're finally into Canada. So I'm 8 hours away from. I was 8 hours away from Canada. Now I think I'm 24, 28 hours away from Canada. Maybe 30, maybe closer to 30 hours away from Canada. Now I'm at. You see how easy that was to just do some gibberish and just get immersed in the question, and you could be at 1 minute and 16 seconds. All right, more impromptu networking table topics. Where have you seen the most beautiful sunsets? Where have you seen the most beautiful sunsets?
Ghana. When I took my trip to Ghana. Well, actually, no. I don't know. There's a good cross between Ghana and Thailand. I really like Thailand sunset. It's very pretty. Um, Last time when we went to Phuket or Phuket, I don't know if I say the name right, but like it was beautiful. Ghana has a very pretty beach. It's called Labadi Beach, and a sunset is gorgeous there. It's nothing like the sunsets here. Like it's just so wide and broad and orange and sunsetty. Like I love it. I love nature. That's something I love. I absolutely love the connection between like a human and nature, and I absolutely like the coloring. I think the coloring is really pretty with sunsets. So yeah.
That's awesome. You're at
Mhm.
50 seconds, so I can't let you off the hook. You can wrap up one last thought.
I love sunsets. Sunsets are pretty.
All right, you did it.
Awesome.
All right, and I'm playing with the controls here. Okay, because I don't know if you remember or didn't know the controls on the top right. There's four buttons, and one says a
Oh.
the three vertical dots makes it so whoever's talking is bigger. So I'm going to leave it on that one.
Oh.
So I
Uh,
better hit the stop button. So you just talked about sunsets. Now it's my turn again. We're not quite up to the business spotlights yet. We have a little bit more time to go. So we get to learn about each other through networking topics. And of course, the people listening to this after will also. By the way, you notice that my background is a cabana. And I have a virtual background, but a lot of people in the Skyliverse don't know that you could make your own background and how to use your own background, which could be a teaching session in itself. If you're not familiar with the website vcam.com, you might want to check it out. vcam.com, which I think is at the bottom of my video right over here. Not .com, it's vcam.ai. So vcam.ai, and I was able to put a picture. So I used Canva to make this little quickie picture to kind of match I noticed that Gabrie'le found the speaker keynote section where all the presenters could talk in front of the theater. So thank you for joining me as a presenter today as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get the feel for that I'm in one of the cabanas that you see on the right side of the screen when you come to OMG BIZ Cafe at omgtalk.com. So my question for you guys from my cabana here at omgtalk.com is, who would you choose to play the main characters in a movie of your life? I have no idea who would play my main characters, nor which segment of the movie, because I'm not quite ready yet. There's still more. I hope there's still more of my movie left. But I do love marathon running. And around 2005, way after high school, I saw a picture on somebody's Facebook page, and they had a number on their shirt, and they had just crossed the finish line of a full marathon of 26.2-mile marathon. And I said, I've never done anything like that. How do I do something like that? Why don't I try to do something like that? And I at the same time, I got a postcard in the mail, and I didn't ask for it. Like you get mail and you don't ask for it, right? Like you get email and you don't ask for it. I guess they call that spam.
Hmm.
And I said, oh, look at this. They're going to teach me how to do a marathon on this postcard. And I could train with this outfit. And this outfit was called Team in Training. And they were matched up with this society called the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And
Hmm.
we had to raise money, like a couple $1,000s, which in a 3 to 4 month period, if you ask everybody for $25, you'll get to about $2,000 or $3,000. To make it creative, I just took one of my extra sneakers and I just went around asking people to fill my shoe. And I said, "Can you put $25 in?" And every day, if I got one or two, I felt like it was a good day. And then in exchange, they taught me the recipe how to complete a whole 26.2-mile marathon. And that, my friends and Gabby, is how you get to 2 minutes and 6 seconds, by adding some more gibberish, more experience,
So proud.
more stories that are stuck inside your head that you could become an amazing storyteller as well.
Mhm.
Whether I am or not is another story. So, what's the best meal that your mom cooks? I hope she's still with us or did cook.
Yes. Okay, so I'm part Ghanaian. So my mom, one thing that I really liked is it's called a gushi stew. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like they use like this plant and there's like tomato and an onion and a lot of really nice stuff. And I like when she put the jalapenos and it's jalapenos, however you say it, in it. And now I keep saying, man, I've probably like lost that. Like I'm already failing. But
There's
I like,
no judging, no judgmental here, by the way.
thank you. I like the gushi stew. That's really good. I also like yams with pepper. Like I love a lot of African food. It's very good. African food is like so good, especially when you use like there's like a palm oil, but I know not everybody knows about it, but it's so good. It's literally so fattening, but so good. Very good. Delicious. Delicioso. Am I
Fattening
animated?
is a technical term. And you're at the 1 minute mark, so you could wrap up now or you can keep going.
I'm done.
Oh, she's done. There's a
Mhm.
there's a card game that my wife and I have been playing called Phase 10. It's kind of like Uno. You've heard of it?
Yes, I've
And
heard of it.
at the
No.
end of Phase 10, one of her friends that taught us it, they told us when you put down your cards, you yell out, "I'm done,"
Mm,
and everybody else is the loser, basically.
mm.
So we played that on a cruise, and my wife, in the middle of the coffee shop, she yells out, "I'm done!" Everybody could like jump up, spill their coffee, but she's done, and I lost that round.
Oh.
So those magic words, "I'm done." Okay, we have a couple more. We have time for a couple of more.
Mm.
If you were, it's my turn, isn't it? Okay. If you were given two 50-yard line tickets to any game in history, which would you see? If you were
I would have
given
loved to answer that
two,
one. That's okay.
you know what? You want to take this one?
It's okay. I don't want to steal it from you, but
Uh, I want to
it's
hear
okay.
your story, though. Go ahead.
I would have loved to go to like the Whitney Houston performance at the football when she performed the Super Bowl. Like if I could go back in time and like see that performance, yes, that would have been like amazing. Because I think that we missed out on a lot of things like in our new generation. And I think that like all the older stuff is so much better. I was just telling a friend, like, I love the show like Touched by an Angel with Della Reese and Roma Downey growing up. Like a lot of the older stuff, like back then, was so much more like entertaining and better. But if I could have like a ticket to something, it would have been a ticket to the Whitney Houston performance. Heavily likely. So
I
yeah.
think you and my wife also, she would agree, and she would probably throw in Michael Jackson because she just,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
just
I would have
something of,
loved
it's a
yes.
shame that we lost him early as well. I'm sure he could have had another
Mhm.
50 years.
Yeah. I was really sad his story, but
I
yeah,
guess I
they're
guess
like
we got a combo, the two of us, to use up 1 minute for that one,
mhm.
which is
Would
legitimate because we are not a official Toastmasters club. We are not even a Toastmasters club. This is just business people, entrepreneurs getting together at the virtual beach that I created here at omgtalk.com. All right,
mm.
let's go with the next one. See if I should steal this one back from Gabrie'le. What's your favorite quote? It doesn't necessarily have to be easy because I could probably rattle off about 50 of them, but I am going to repeat for everybody to hear this one again, which is by the late Jimmy Valvano as a favorite quote. The Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary. And then he also said, and right on top of that, it was very fast in a 48-minute speech on YouTube that I saw it. I didn't get a chance to see it when he did it live. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. That would have to be my favorite quote, especially for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and workaholic professionals. My mother was considered a workaholic, but back then, a lot of my family called her that because she burned the candle at both ends. She had her own business. She was an accountant. She was a CPA. She worked till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. She started every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. So when did she sleep? And she had kids, me and my sister. I think that workaholic is a misused word for what an entrepreneur is. That they have to do whatever it takes because they are their own boss. They make
Mhm.
the money, they pay the expenses, they feed their family. And maybe they're married and they share feeding the family, perhaps. And that
Yeah.
is 1 minute and 30 seconds. We
Mm.
have room for maybe two more. So you get a chance to do at least one. Maybe you'll do two. Maybe I'll make you do two. So you know what you're coming through. Now, I hope that you recommend the OMG Biz Cafe by the beach at omgtalk.com to a business person to come on in and let me hear their networking table topics. And then their 6 minute, hopefully we didn't wear you out to be able to do a 6 minute, which I'll tell you those timing parameters as well. I still get to wave the gavel when you do your business leader thing too, a business leader spotlight. So, and by the way, I just did it. So it counts as one of those like, so filler words that instead of saying so, like, those kind of words, you actually could force your brain to pause if possible, right? It was hard to get Mary Stanley to pause.
Mhm.
I could talk about it when she's not here because then it's on her podcast. So as soon as I upload it, she'll know that it's there. What's your favorite memory of somebody in the room? So that means that you had to have met me before, or maybe it's yourself. Maybe you have a favorite memory from yourself when you were younger or yesterday, or maybe we had an encounterment and it's a favorite memory and hopefully it's a good one.
So
Go
I,
ahead.
I would say my favorite nah, I can't talk. My favorite my favorite memory between you and I was the very first time that we did like that live thing. We did something live. I don't know what to call it, but whatever the live thing was, we did like one of these before.
Oh,
Kind
okay.
of. I think
Where
it was like a
I asked you like 4 questions, maybe.
yes, and that was very uplifting to me. I think it was very inspiring and it shifted me a lot, whether you know it or not. It was very helpful to me in building my confidence with my business. So I really appreciate you for that um, opportunity. That was actually the first time I think I had ever done any sort of podcast, anything with anybody. Now I'm in 2 magazines and going to be in 3. It's crazy. So
Wow.
it's like it really helped me in building my confidence there. So I greatly appreciate you, Paul.
After today, you're probably going to be telling another story because you just went to a minute and 5 seconds and you're feeling more comfortable doing it impromptu. And after networking topics, you will be able to be on TV. They can throw any question at you and you might look comfortable. You might do it anyway, but you're going to feel even better.
Thank you.
Do you have any last thoughts? Because I interrupted your last 6 seconds.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I
More
when
of
I
that
answer
phase 10 game again. I'm done. I win this. I win this hand. There's no winners here. There's win-win. We don't want win lose. We want win-win. It's because
Mhm,
business people want to be able to refer each other business or work up to that stage. Otherwise, it's a lot of socializing. And if we're here just for socializing, that's great. That's another reason why. Not necessarily you, Gabby, but for Gabrie'le. Um, what sounds do you most like to hear when you wake up in the morning? What sounds do I most like to hear when I wake up in the morning to keep it nice? I will say that it's really nice in the morning that if you remember to set the coffee maker on automatic so that you hear the coffee smell coming up the stairs into the bedroom and you take a whiff of the air as you wake up and go, the smell of fresh coffee to start your day is amazing to a lot of people. On the other
mhm.
hand, I've been trying less and less and less to have less coffee and to actually have a nice, cold, refreshing glass of water.
Yeah.
Is that what that was, or is that some tea? Or maybe perhaps it's a screwdriver.
So, well, okay. So what it is it's V8. I really like this because I used to take ADHD medication, but now when I drink V8, it tapers me throughout my day and it gives me energy. And it's not like coffee that gives you like a spike. It's very good at tapering you throughout the day. So it's like V8 energy is what it
So
is.
it's not even from one of those health and wellness companies. It's just right out of the grocery store, V8.
Yeah, so they have like packets. I don't know how healthy it is for you, but it works for me. So I like it.
Well, it
It's
certainly
V.
has salt, but I don't think it has that much salt, right?
I don't know. I just know it helps me. It's V8 pomegranate,
Hmm.
blueberry, whatever the V8 pomegranate. They only have like one. It's and you can get it in a can or you can get it powdered. But for me, it really makes my day go very smooth, and it doesn't like make me tired like coffee. When I drink coffee, I get like migraines and headaches. If I don't drink this for like a week, I don't feel addicted or anything. So that's why I
Okay, and now I have to hit the gavel one more time on my, so I could go to our last table topic, and then you're off the hook, and then we can go to our next portion of our podcast or meeting. Who taught you, Gabby, how to drive, or do you? Do you even have a license? Who taught you how to drive?
um so my mom taught me how to drive, but I don't know if I should say this or not, but I kind of taught myself a little bit. I mean,
I don't know. Right, good question.
I took myself out a lot. I don't know if it was really legal. I should have been doing that, but I was doing it in a place that like there was no people, so like it was like a field by my house. So I would just go there and just practice with water gallon jugs and try to make sure that I made the maneuverability, in which I failed the first time, obviously. But, because I have a really hard time with my body and space and understanding like how much of a space I have. So maneuverability was really difficult for me. But my mom and I kind of together, my mom was really the bigger one to teach me. But I taught myself a lot too. And boom, a minute.
Ah, I was
So
curious if I put the timer in front of you, if that would help, or you get excited as it got to the end of a minute.
yeah, that was very fulfilling.
All right. So we actually, if you did this with every business person on a one-to-one, and you actually talked with somebody before talking about business, before asking somebody for their business, or before all those businessy things. We talked about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We talked about 14 different things back and forth to get to know. And if we had 10 people in the room with us, obviously it wouldn't be us using all 15 of these things, or 14. So it'll be fun to come back and have more guests each week on 5:30 Eastern Time PM on Monday. On that note, tell us, I'll say for each of the three sections, you could tell me one thing that you liked about that portion of the meeting, the impromptu, one thing you liked, and one thing that you learned. So tell us one thing you liked and one thing you learned about networking table topics.
Well, I like the flow of it. It seems very interesting. It's not like all the other podcast people that are like, so tell me your life story with your business. Like, it was like very fun. I like that. But I guess, okay, in the learning, you said, what did I learn? I learned that there's a lot that I just learned right now. What's the most interesting thing that I learned?
The word
I
of the
like
day.
Yeah, ordinary. I remember. But that was a good one. But there was something you said earlier that was interesting, and I can't remember what it was. It was just kind of it was very interesting to me.
And
But I
that's
can't.
the beauty of a podcast. You can go back and listen to it. And not all podcasters believe in doing long podcasts because they're probably not networking podcasts. Some people think it has to be 2 minutes. Some people think 5 minutes. Some people do 20-minute podcasts. Some people do 2-hour podcasts. Of course,
You said
ours is 90 minutes because it's really like a meeting within a meeting.
Yeah, you said something about the beach. I can't remember what it was, but you said something about the beach.
Oh, I like to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That I like to be the first person there. That it's beautiful talcum powder beach, which the only two places so far were like completely man-made beaches. Two
Hmm.
cruise lines. Royal Caribbean has Coco Cay, and Holland
Hmm.
America has Half Moon Cay, and they're in the Bahamas and their own island, and they bring in truckloads of fake powdered sand that feels doesn't feel like old beaches where we could go by Florida.
That's one. That was it. That was
Oh,
it. The
okay,
powder.
so that counts
Mhm.
as one.
Yeah.
All right, so that ends our first part of our podcast for small business owners, entrepreneurs as well, and including Gabrie'le and Paul here today at omgtalk.com. Next, we will hear some business spotlights. These are prepared speeches, so they're not really impromptu. And how are they prepared? Because I didn't in advance ask Gabrie'le if she could prepare a speech for me today. You
No.
most likely started your business more than yesterday, and you
Yes.
learned a few things a while ago, whether it was a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Maybe you were 12 and you really dreamt of being in your own business. So we have here today Gabrie'le, and she will give us a 6-minute talk based on experience. And when you're doing something that you love and you do every day, you don't
Mhm.
need to really do much preparation. You lived it. And a personal story makes the best speeches. If you always do a speech with a personal story, you most likely will win somebody every time. Of course, we can't
Mhm.
be everything to everybody, as my mother told me. May she rest in peace. And here's your timing parameters at 4 minutes. It's not over until the fat lady sings. I know you're not fat, I'm not fat, nobody's fat, but it's just an expression. So at 4 minutes, I
Calling me
will,
fat?
I will,
I'm just kidding.
if I do, it's the PHAT, which is cool,
You never
right?
call a woman
Right,
fat.
the cool fat, PHAT. So you at 4 minutes, we wave the magic gavel, and then at
Okay.
5 minutes, I wave the magic gavel again. And then at 6 minutes, I will wave the magic gavel again, at which you'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up, but a total of 6 minutes. And you have to make it to a minimum time of 4 minutes about
Okay.
your business, why and how you started it, and tell us some stories. I bet you 4 minutes would be like two of those topics we just did. So just think of four topics about your business. And it could be like my way to do a speech is I like bullet points instead of writing out a speech in like 3 pages. And if I wrote up one bullet point for every aspect of my business, then that's your 4 minutes. So without, I'm not going to say a cliche. Okay, I will, because like you're going to wonder all meeting what's the cliche. I'm not going to say. And but know that without further ado is horrible. I kind of like don't like saying it, but it comes to my mind. So let's hear from Gabrie'le talk about her business in Ohio, or maybe she does business outside of Ohio in Thailand, for instance. So Gabby, take it away.
So in 1962, I'm just kidding. I wasn't even born then. I started
Me,
my business.
me neither.
So did you catch that? I was lying. But so I started my business. Well, it really started when I was 10, but it wasn't actually a business then. But I started coding when I was 10. I absolutely loved Neopets and I loved playing on it. And I would decorate stuff and I learned to code through it. They had like a HTML guide, and all my friends and stuff, we would just go on there, lied about my age to join the platform. Pretty sure that was illegal. Do a lot of illegal things apparently. But that turned into me. I worked for a forum. They thought I was 18 and I was doing all their graphic design for them. Um, they didn't do a good job verifying me, but it worked. It got me a lot of training. And then I later on opened my business because so I was a nursing major, and from nursing I decided to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a psychologist, so started working with someone. They specialize in forensic eval, expert witness testimony and stuff, and did my internship. And then I ended up getting my psychology degree. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm a digital design psychologist, which is a type of psych. So I am a psychologist in a non-clinical way, but I'm a psychometrician as well. And I conduct evals for autism and ADHD. So I can do like autism, ADHD evals. I have an NPI and all that. But it all came together because I tied the non-clinical side of psychology into the coding, and I made Ellable. And it's basically something that I use to kind of help support the autism ADHD community, because every time somebody buys a website, it goes towards me being able to public speak in schools now. But when I first started it, it was really like something I had a lot of passion for, But it's really turned into an endeavor of empowering other people who are autistic, who have ADHD, who are neurodivergent, to realize that you're much more beyond a label. Because when I started, I was really depressed. I was sad. I felt like I was nothing. I felt very like worthless in a lot of ways. But since growing my business, I found a lot of value. I found a lot of worth, and I've been able to pour into other people to find their value and worth. So right now it's in a running for a Webby Award, which is really cool. And I just thank God for being such a blessing in my life. And yeah, that's it. I don't know if I'm at the minute mark yet, but I tried.
You're at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which
Okay.
is close. So there must be some nugget. Tell us maybe a story of your favorite customer. I don't know you. I don't think you want to talk about your worst customer on a speech here on a
Yeah.
podcast. But perhaps, and maybe everybody has people that maybe don't turn out to be your favorite customer. But maybe tell us about an an easy customer, maybe an ideal customer that is the dream customer of yours that you would want to have.
So honestly, I'm very picky with who I work with. So all my customers are really good, but I will say I had one customer that was not the best, and it was because I was not very picky at that time, and I learned very hard. I learned a very hard way that you want to be very selective with the people you work with. You don't want to just work with anybody. So for me, I really like working with everybody because every single person that I work with, they go through like a process of like approval for their website. And once they're approved and I say, oh, we'll work together, it's like a long term friendship in a way. It's really, really close and I help them grow. And it's really nice to see people like growing and thriving and taking the techniques I say to form something beautiful and gorgeous.
And see how we got you up to 4 minutes and 10 seconds by just talking about a type of customer. But now, if you could embellish a little bit more, I'm going to get you to talk a little bit more and tell us about, are all of your customers within 5 miles of your house? Or do you actually drive to a customer that's more than 5 miles? Or is everything virtual for you?
So my whole business is virtual, but except the travel part. So okay. So I work globally. So I work all across. I've worked with people in Africa. I've worked with people in Canada. I work with people US. I mean, I've worked with people in London, like all sorts of people. I've worked with literal celebrities, which is kind of cool now. All started on a lineable, right? And um what its turn is like I do all my like virtual work, my design, my branding work and all that, that's virtual, but I'm working on doing more like public speaking in person where hopefully I can travel more to different like countries and stuff and help with kids in schools and stuff like that there too. So yeah.
That brought you two questions, brought you up to almost 5.5 minutes. So
Yay.
if a future talk, and you can re-listen to this on the podcast, if you could think of one more question that would, maybe I should ask you, if you had one question that you would want me to ask you about your business, say what that question is if something comes to mind, and then pause and then answer it. What one question would you want someone to hear?
Why do I highlight autism and ADHD so much? That would be a big one for me. You want me to answer it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason I highlight it so much is because there's not enough highlighting of it for people to understand it. So I want to be a role model for people who are younger to be able to see that you can be successful even if you're autistic, even if you have ADHD. It doesn't have to be a barrier to success. I know there's different levels of the spectrum, but there's a lot of people who are neurodivergent who feel like they're lesser or they feel like what they love or what interests them is something that makes them like something's wrong with them because of it. And I've had a lot of intense interest with digital branding, with PR, with social media, with acting, singing, all these things, right? Entertainment stuff. And now it's turned into this beautiful thing. So I want people to be able to see that if somebody has an intense interest or they like something, you shouldn't shut them down for it. You should encourage them to do the things that they love to do and um, just be a great encourager. Don't doubt them.
And congratulations. You made it to 7 minutes,
Let's go.
which is 30 seconds more than my 6-minute qualifying time. But there's no contest here. I only have the time like a Toastmasters club that everybody that has a meeting should time all of their meetings, because then it forces a new person to not come and steal the stage. Because you've been to meetings where some new person shows up late, they start talking and they don't know what's going on, and they hijack a meeting. And I think that by having a meeting timed and having someone facilitate it and having some fun activities like we're doing here makes it not just fun but organized. And I think small businesses don't have time to waste because we are up all hours of the day. We get up early, stay up late, and we're a bit of an entrepreneur. So I think that people appreciate when we don't waste their time.
Yeah.
All right. So now, since you gave your speech here, I guess we'll go to the next speech, which is me, to be fair. So I'll pick a topic for 6 minutes and I get to talk about something, and then we'll go into the third part of the meeting. But I'll ask you while I'm doing my speech for 6 minutes, if you could think about what you liked or what you loved about giving a 6-minute speech here at the virtual beach at OMG BIZ Cafe or omgtalk.com. All right, so now I'll go into my 6 minutes, which will be the same time and parameters, which will be 4 minutes. I will wave the magic gavel. And then at 5 minutes, I'll wave it again. And at 6 minutes, I'll wave it again. I'm beginning to think that I'm a fairy godmother, but I'm in a good way. And then 30 seconds to wrap up. Exactly. All right. So now a good speech, by the way, which I didn't have a whole lot of. We didn't hang out at the beach together or meet before meeting on an online business site. So a good speech technically is if you could actually give a presenter 30 to 60 seconds or like 3 or 4 sentences of an intro about you, it kind of sets up your speech to be so much better. So introductions really do work in the speech presentation world. So if I were presenting Gabby, I'd say this girl doesn't know, she knows like 2 words of French, but she has a French name. She loves websites and she actually knows about coding since she was 10. So she could probably take apart my iPhone and put it back together again, at least the software. I don't know about the hardware. It might not work. Like you can't run her over with a car and have it work again. But let me introduce to you a very technical and interesting and an advocate for autism, Gabrie'le. So that would be a great example of an introduction. And it didn't take too much time to do it. So if I were to do the same thing for myself, I'd say this guy loves to run on the beach so much that he has a picture of a beach behind him. He also loves saving businesses time and money, and that's why he appreciates the value of online networking, because you don't have to drive somewhere and wear and tear on your car and waste a lot of gas at the same time. So help me welcome saver and maker of money, which no pun intended, it happens to be the industry I'm in, which I won't talk a whole lot about my industry or how I do that for people, but help me welcome Paul Finkelstein. Yay. And then there should be some applause. We should have applauded also for both of us between every single 15 of those networking table topics. We should have applauded after each one, as well as after Gabrie'le. Let's applause for her. I think I have a button that I can do for you. Can you hear this? Okay, so here's your applause. Okay, electronic applause. And now I'll start the timer for myself. I'm not going to hold it up and speak at the same time. I might need my gestures. But hello, everybody, small business owners, especially Gabrie'le, since she's in the studio audience, and those that are listening to this afterwards. Does anybody know the word comfortable? Raise a show of hands if you've ever heard the word comfortable before. I know you have had to hear the word comfortable, so I'm waiting for everybody's hand to go up. Because one day in 1991, this guy did not know the word comfortable. Not me, the guy I met did not know the word comfortable. He knew Russian, he knew Hebrew, but he did not know English. So because he didn't know English, he had no idea what the word comfortable was. He knew what it was in his language, but he did not know it in my language. I met this guy at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to get up on a kibbutz in northern Israel in 1991 to go milk cows. I didn't even know how to milk cows here. So maybe you are listening and you know how to milk cows because you live on a farm, but I did live on a farm. But I wanted to experience what it was like on a kibbutz in northern Israel. And I got there, and this guy had all these cows lined up. There was so much mud and muck. I didn't know that it was, or it was poop. It was cow poop, and not it was not mud. So he wanted me to wear boots because I wasn't going to be walking through mud. I was going to be walking through like 2 feet high of cow poop. So I turned down these boots that he was waving in the air because I had a ratty pair of sneakers and a ratty pair of jeans that I was wearing and said, "This'll do. I'll just take these off and hose them down later. No big deal." And I survived. It was fun. I was kind of outdoorsy, young at the time, in my early 20s, I suppose. And that being said, I said to him that, pointing to my shoes, "These are comfortable." And he looked at me and he said, "Comfortable?" And I looked at him and I said, "Comfortable." And he looked at me and he said, "Comfortable." And he had no idea what I was saying. And I was trying to tell him that these are comfortable. Well, you don't know the language. How are you going to learn? Right? So it happened again. Flash forward from 1991 to 2025. This year, a few months ago, we went to a friend's house just around the block, and their mother lives with them. And that's what people do when their parents get older, right? The parents move back versus the kids move back. Maybe the kids are still in, but the parents move in. So now you're in between and you have your parents and your kids and you're in the middle. I think they call that the sandwich generation. When your kids and your parents are in the same house as you. But there's the mother only knew Russian. Here I am in the same situation years later from 91 to 25. And I said to the mother, I on purpose, I think, because it had nothing to do with anything. But she was Russian. I found out she knew no English. So I said, I'm going to have some fun. And I said, can you tell me how to say comfortable in Russian? And she said, comfortable. And I said, comfortable. And she said, comfortable. And I said, comfortable. And she had no idea what I'm talking about, but her kids knew what I was saying. So her kids asked their mom, how to say comfortable in Russian. And of course, it was some long word that blah, 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 blah. And I had no idea how to say it back. You could probably Google translate it now and tell me what it is. And maybe I might, and we might butcher how to say it, but maybe Google would be able to tell us. On that note, while you're looking that up, we'll go back to that. So with the mom that knew Russian and I knew the word comfortable, and we went back and forth, comfortable, 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 comfortable. Nothing was happening. How do you learn anything if you don't know the language? This word comfortable really just fascinated me at that point. And then so many people actually are living their lives in the comfortable zone, the CZ zone, the comfort zone. So comfortable zone, comfort zone. They say that success is just outside of this is your comfort zone. And then here, if you're on the audio, you can't see this. The visual, you'll have to catch the video. I'm holding up my hands and making it on the lower left side, and I'm like a circle. And this is the comfort zone. And then right over here is the uncomfortable zone, one dot. And they say success is here, not here, because everybody goes home to work, home to work, home to work, or they're at home and they don't go anywhere, but they go work to work, work to work, work to work. They go from their bedroom to their office, their bedroom to their office, and their whole life goes by in 40 years, and they get used to a certain way of working, and it's their comfort zone. But then their income matches their comfort zone. So if your income matches your comfort zone, then where are your dreams? Out here. If all your dreams are out here, and you're working here, and you could only make so much income here because you could only work, um, what is it, 168 hours in a week is all we have, and that includes sleep. And if you take out sleep, we only have 160 hours of sleep of time every week.
Hmm.
So how do we fix that? How do we get people to dream a little bit and not focus on the comfort zone? Now, some people are happy being in the comfort zone, and that's all they want. But if you know people that want to get out of the comfort zone and they want to achieve more dreams in their job, and their business is completely scalable, and you're not the next Facebook, and you're not the next McDonald's, and you want to learn how to scale yourself into more income, to having maybe more streams of income, then that's the language that I want to teach people, how to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And one way of doing that, if I talk about anything, which I'm at 6 minutes and 50 right now, just over 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So you'll have to tune in next time if you're curious about anything I've talked about now, getting comfortable in the uncomfortable zone and getting outside of your income to your dreams. Well, I need to come up with a strong ending though, Gabrie'le. So I'll have to think on that because that's the one thing I'm trying to make this into. This is like a good practice time for me for a speech because I want to enter this speech into the international speech contest at Toastmaster. And I know that having a personal story makes everything, and having a point makes everything. Now I just need the ending to just be some question that I could ask, like, if you would like to find more information about how to customize your own comfort zone, then let's talk afterwards, or something like that. Some
Mhm.
call to action. So on this is the prepared speeches section, and then there's a last section where we wrap up for about another 10 minutes, and then you can go have dinner, or go do some more work, or help a client, or go make money, or go watch TV and see what's happening. I mean, you don't want to do that. Okay, so on that note, tell, as far as the speeches go, did you learn something, or did you like something from the speeches? Maybe something you talked about or something I talked about. What'd you like and what'd you learn?
I like it all, and I learned a multitude of things. Honestly, I don't really have anything to pinpoint. I think it's just very informational, and there's nothing really pinpointing to me. I think the whole thing was a great experience.
Excellent. Great experience is a good thing. Great
Mhm.
experience makes me feel like 5-star Google review, which I don't have a Google review set up or Google My Business set up. But if I did, maybe I should have it. Maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to get a Google My Business for this community. Gotta
Mhm. I
thank
absolutely love your enthusiasm with this, like the way you do your like podcasts and everything. I think it's really nice. Like you have a lot of good energy like when you do it, and it shows through in everything you do.
thank you. Now,
Mhm.
like, to piggyback on this, I'm going to have to do more of the legwork for this part than yourself, and maybe it might be more learning experience. But the last part is mimicking the general evaluator portion of a Toastmaster meeting. Have you ever been to a Toastmaster club before?
I didn't even know what it was until you
Okay.
said it.
Yeah, right.
So
You'll have to
I've heard, but
Google.
I really is. Yeah. I think
Make
it has like speeches and stuff. I just don't know much about it, to be honest with you.
Write down or listen to this later the word Toastmaster with an S for Toastmasters, and then it's the extension .org. And then
Oh,
you'll see that you type in a zip code and you'll find a in-person club around the corner from you, like you find a Walgreens or a CVS. That's how close there's a club. The maximum size is 25 people because every
oh,
week a club might meet for weekly, but there are clubs that meet once a month. The only disfortune you get from going to a monthly club is you don't get a chance to get to know the people in your club. In a monthly club, it's too much time goes by. But every week you get to know the members in the club. That's why I picked why I meet every Monday. And of course, something comes up and I can't come, then I just have to close the waiting room down and watch people say, "Where's the meeting?" So
wow.
this third part, we're going to do an evaluation of your speech and my speech, And I think I'm just as guilty. I'm going to do the same evaluation for me as I would do for you, because there's not that either one of us are guilty, but there's things to improve in everybody's speeches. But a great evaluation speech, and just like your great photo, a great evaluation. Are you going to come
Sorry.
back? Are you going to come back or no?
Yeah, I had to get my charger because my laptop's about to die. So that's why I was
Okay,
like,
I
so
can
sorry.
I can hold. By the way,
Uh-huh.
so right now,
Oh,
Gabrie'le just took a minute break or less to go find her charger.
okay.
That was fast. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
It was
always
right over there. So I
it's
was like, I'll just go get it really quick.
so this
So,
this section is what's called the Oreo cookie method that a lot of Toastmasters clubs use, but business coaches would benefit by using this too. And I call this the free coaching element of the cafe, the OMG BIZ cafe, and that's doing a 2 to 3 minute, which is the time and parameters for a evaluation in Toastmasters. But each speaker would get 2 to 3 minutes. I'll time myself for 2 minutes, and then I'll magic gavel wave, and then 2.5 minutes I'll wave it again, and then 3 minutes I'll wave it so you'll know that I'm at the conclusion of the evaluation. And the best thing about an evaluation is that I don't want to tell you a critique where I'm telling you a blunt thing that I don't like about your speech, referring to the content, or say I just didn't like people who work with computers and people who code. They're just ugly people. No, I would never say that. That was just an example, by the way. So the kind of evaluation is that I want you to want to come back. Like an employer would want to say good things about their employee. And then if they want them to improve, they should say one thing that they would like them to improve, because people could, then maybe most people are not really good multitaskers. So if you give them one thing, they could focus on that really easy. And so maybe my one thing would be if you could just recognize that a hammer and a nail go perfect together and you hammer in. But if I took a screw and I tried to hammer it in, it wouldn't go anywhere, right? So with this evaluation, I'll start with Gabrie'le and I'll start my timer. I could hold it up so you can see to get to 2 minutes. That
mhm.
Gabby showed up pretty much on time. Right when I started to get going, she came here at 5:30 ish. And when she got here, I immediately incorporated her into the meeting to make her feel comfortable, and she smiled, and she does that really well. She actually looks exactly like her picture on her social media. But
Oh,
before, when I first met her, she only had a picture. So I'm really glad that she actually showed a non AI picture on her social media profile. Of course, it might have been doctored up a little bit, but
a little bit.
I think it really does look like her. At least her hair was very recognizable from her social media picture to now. So when you see Gabby here and you see her on social media, it is the same person. She also is
Yeah.
has a fun personality. So you should know that you are not going to be going into a meeting that's boring if it includes Gabby in the meeting. She also has the most well lit virtual meeting space ever. I mean, besides mine, I mean, I have some lights over here to make me look like I'm in a cabana and with the sunlight at the beach, but she's in her office. It might be a TV on the wall, perhaps, but there's good lighting. And how many people do you ever visit virtually, whether they're a customer, a client, or another business person, where they suck at camera framing? Their lighting is not lighting their face, or perhaps they actually have their camera and it's aimed at the ceiling and their head is way down here. Is that like awful or what? So I think that Gabby has that really perfect. And now I just cut off my head just trying to do an example of what not to do. I love also the roof while I'm talking of the cabana, by the way. I think that everybody should be doing their podcast from a cabana, because I feel like it's where people should go to when they want to relax. Maybe think about what it's like to be retired. If you know people that are aiming towards being financially independent and retired at such a young age, I don't even know how I got off on that tangent because I'm supposed to be talking about Gabby, but she gives me these looks like of permission, and I was talking about my cabana here. But I think that besides the lighting, that's what I was talking about, and backgrounds. I think
Mhm.
that there's one tip that I would like you to walk away from. Okay, I'm at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So here's the one tip, and you have to at least get this: is online to make yourself stand apart from everybody else, which you already do that by having a great personality. You already do that by having well lit. But if you could use a prop at least once and hold it up and put it close to the camera where people could see it, maybe not cover your face like I'm doing here. And if you had a prop that was in relation to your speeches, that related to
Oh,
coding or any of your experiences, by using a prop could be powerful in an online presentations.
oh,
But
I
that
never thought of
But
that.
that being said, otherwise we just stand here in the middle of our screen. We're well lit. Our microphone works. Our background works. Our camera works. It's clean. There's no distractions. But how do you stand out from the other people if you're in a group setting? Everybody looks like everybody, but everyone's gonna remember the guy with the hammer, the guy with the
That
gavel. They won't. They might not know what the heck he is or what he does.
Thor, Thor, you're Thor.
Right. I'm Thor, so I'm the guy that helps people get comfortable um, by using a hammer. Controlling meetings. All right, so now I'm really past my time, but I'm also done with the. Actually, I'm not done with my. Actually, that was, to be fair, that wasn't all my time. I forgot that I kept the timer going. I don't think I reset it. Or maybe I did reset it. I Yeah, I could be lying. I could be not. That you had 2 minutes and I had 2 minutes, but I think I did reset it. So enough jibber jabber, which is another made up word. But I'm just an ordinary guy using the word ordinary again because this is still the same meeting, right? It feels like yesterday that I first introduced the word ordinary. All right. So at this point, I say as an overall for the whole meeting, so I can evaluate myself and for you to evaluate the meeting as well. I'm glad that technology worked. I'm glad that the recording worked up until now. When I hit stop, I'll be able to upload this a little bit later. And I'm glad that I got a chance to have a productive 90 minutes almost, where we did 14 or 15 networking topics, and we got to hear a good 6 minutes of uninterrupted time of each of us talking about how we play in the business world. And tell us your thoughts, Gabby, about your overall the meeting, like, improve, what you'd like to see, and your overall experience.
I am always blessed to have a meeting with you because I think that whenever we speak here, you're always so sweet and you actually care about the person you're talking to. Some people they do podcasts, they don't really care. And like you seem like you actually care about like the message behind things and then you make them very fun, intriguing and interesting. So if anybody ever tells you otherwise, they're wrong because I really do like doing this kind of thing. I think this is fun. Real. Now I can't talk. I think it's really fun. You make it very interesting. That's what I like about it the most.
I should hit the stop button now and end it because that's a perfect spot to end it right there. So thank you for coming here at OMG Biz Cafe, omgtalk.com. And until next time, Mondays at 5:30 Eastern PM.
Thanks, Paul.
I hit the stop button, so I think that means that it stops recording.